Hello everybody and welcome to Full Range Media. I am your host, MostValuablePat, and today we are talking about who did it better, Raw or SmackDown. Find out here in just a couple seconds. Today we have a special episode of Who Did It Better. We got Super Showdown that happened on Saturday, and then we got Raw and SmackDown shows that happened, of course, on Monday and Tuesday. So we're going to do two separate episodes of Who Did It Better. We're going to talk about just Super Showdown and which brand did it better, Raw or SmackDown, with just that show, and then we're going to talk about the shows itself. So I want to get right down to it. We're going to start with the Super Showdown. We got 5 categories, so let's figure out who actually did it better. First category we have is the best pop of the night, and for Raw, it went to Buddy Murphy, and for SmackDown, it went to Daniel Bryan. And the brand that did it better, obviously, was Buddy Murphy because it was in his home country, and they were really excited to see him, and they loved it, and it was wonderful. So he pretty much dominated the show. That was a really cool little intro that he had. So, and the best pop that he had for the night. That's going to be 1 point to Raw on that one. The next category, we have the best feud. For Raw, we have the Shield versus Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, and Braun Strowman. And then on SmackDown, we have AJ versus Samoa Joe. This is a close one, I think, but the best feud overall, I would say that it's probably going to be Shield and versus Drew, Dolph, and Braun. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because the promos that Samoa Joe and AJ do were just bad. The matches were better, but the promos weren't. And the whole thing with, is Dean Ambrose going to turn heel? That's a good promo to kind of cut. It's a good little tease just in case he does. So I kind of like that, and so I'm going to put that as a better feud as of right now. So that's going to be 2 points for Raw on this one. So far as Raw's looking pretty good. The third category we have is the best crowd reaction. For Raw, again, we have Murphy winning the Cruiserweight Championship, and then for SmackDown, we have Undertaker and Kane turning on Triple H and Shawn Michaels after the match is over. And, I mean, as close as winning the match was for Buddy Murphy and the crowd reaction that he got, I would say that the crowd was more surprised about what happened at the end of the Undertaker-Triple H match. So I would just say that that's a better reaction because it wasn't expected. Usually when a person goes to their hometown or home country and the reaction's so big, they usually win the match. So it's not really a big crowd reaction and a big surprise crowd reaction if they do that. So I'm going to have to say that the best crowd reaction was like, what the hell? Why are they doing this whole thing? Why are they turning on them? Blah, blah. So I would have to say that the Undertaker and Triple H winning the match for Raw, not for SmackDown, sorry, I misspoke, actually does take the cake on this one. So that's going to work out for that. Best match of the night. So this is another category that, again, no questions asked in my mind. It was between Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander on Raw, and SmackDown, it was between AJ and Samoa Joe. And the Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander match was the best match of the night. No questions asked. No doubt about it. And there was nothing at all wrong with this match. It was sort of kind of short, but it was fantastic. The match was absolutely phenomenal. So this is pretty much a clean sweep for Raw at the moment. They had the best overall show for this week. I don't know, overall show when it comes to Super Showdown. And so it looks like it's going to be a clean sweep for Raw for this. Best pop, best feud, best crowd reaction, best match, and best overall show. So that is going to be the end of episode number 1 of Who Did It Better. We're going to go ahead and move on to episode number 2 of Who Did It Better, and this is just for the day, Raw and SmackDown. I do want to say this. Raw was probably one of the best Raws I've seen in probably 7 or 8 years. I'm just going to say it right now that a lot of the things that happened on Raw are winning Raw this week. I guarantee you Raw is going to win this week. No questions asked. Because Raw was the best show I've seen in years. I've never been so jealous of not going to a Chicago show ever in my life. It was the best show I've seen in Chicago ever, and it was one of the best shows that I've seen on Raw, period, within the last 7 or 8 years. So the first one is going to be the best pop, and it was down to Lita from Raw and then Daniel Bryan for SmackDown. No questions asked. Whenever that music hit for Lita, the Chicago crowd went absolutely bonkers. That was the best pop of the night, period. No questions asked. Trish's was good, but then everybody saw Lita, and that was pretty freaking sweet. Biggest surprise. For Raw, it was Angle returning. And for SmackDown, it was Charlotte spearing Lynch through the, thing? You know, the little Titantron type of thing, whatever it's called. And again, it was Angle returning for Raw. No questions asked again. I wish I would have been there because I've been waiting for Angle to come back and do something for the last, 4 or 5 weeks, and it sucks. But definitely 100%. Angle coming back was a nice little surprise. Lita coming out was too, but I mean, it wasn't as big of a surprise as Angle being back and returning on that day. And then DX returning too was on there also. But I mean, Angle returning was really, really cool and really fun to see. So again, that's the second point that we're going to give to Raw when it comes to biggest surprise. The best feud is going to be down to DX and Taker and Kane. And for Raw and for SmackDown, it's going to be AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. And I actually gave this one to AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. I really cannot wait to see their match happen at, what's it called? Crown Jewel in, where is it at? In Siberia, right? Or Syria or something, or wherever it is. I don't know where it's at. But I can't wait to see that match. It's going to be one of the best matches probably of the year because they're just such a good duo when it comes to wrestling. They're just the biggest talents in the WWE, I think, at the moment. So I'm going to have to go with definitely AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan when it comes to best feud. So that's going to give one more point to SmackDown. And then we're going to go with best match. Best match, Shield versus Dolph, Drew and Braun on Raw, and then Charlotte versus Becky Lynch on SmackDown. I mean, every time it seems like it's the same stuff over and over and over again because it's Raw. That's Raw and SmackDown. They never really change anything. It's always the same shit, and then they keep on dragging it and dragging it and dragging it and dragging it. But let me tell you, man, Charlotte and Becky Lynch, they just keep on producing great matches. And it ended up as being a double countout, so I kind of docked it a couple points off for that. But I mean, it was still better than the Shield versus Dolph, Drew, and Braun match. And then after that, whenever Charlotte speared Becky Lynch into the what is it called? Into the freaking, I don't even know what it's called. The TV monitors or whatever they're called, the Titantron things. I don't know what on stage. When she speared her on the stage, that was what did it for me, and that was probably the best match of the night, no questions asked. So that's going to be 2 for Raw, or 2 for Raw and 2 for SmackDown. But as I already stated, kind of in the middle, I kind of spoiled it for myself. Raw was the best show I've seen in 7 or 8 years, and there was no questions asked that this show was full of just the best things that you can possibly have in a Raw. There was Shawn Michaels and Triple H there. Shawn Michaels returning to wrestling. Trish Stratus and Lita were there. Kurt Angle came back, and it was just full of that was the best show I've seen in forever. I can't stress that enough. It was so full of cool shit that happened on that show. I'm so happy that this actually happened the way that it did. Thank the Lord. And they finally have a good show. I was on the edge of my seat throughout the entire day. So, and I'm glad it happened in Chicago, my hometown. So that's fantastic. So Raw gets this, no questions asked, for Super Showdown and for the shows for the week. SmackDown was okay, but Raw just took the cake. Easy, no questions asked. So that's going to do it for our show tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. You had a little double feature. We're not going to separate the shows. We're just going to keep them all in kind of one little show so you guys can watch a little bit longer. But thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. Have a great night. Thank you for watching. Please leave your comments down below what you thought you guys think was the best of Super Showdown and the best of the shows for the week. for Raw and SmackDown, don't be afraid to do that. We love to hear your comments, and don't forget to also give us categories. We need those categories. I'm running kind of short on categories. I don't want to keep on doing the same stuff over and over and over again. So please let us know what you think, and we will see you all next week for another episode of Who Did It Better. Thanks for coming out. Have a great night.